In our lives, we often see how a small problem can become a huge reason for someone's sadness. But we also see people who handle even the biggest troubles with remarkable calm. They don't break down. Instead, they expand their hearts so much that pain has no space to linger. Today's story teaches us a profound lesson. If you keep your heart small, even tiny problems will fill you with bitterness. But if you make your heart bigger, even the hardest times will feel more manageable. So let's try to find a reflection of our own lives in the story we are about to hear. Listen carefully, because this story isn't just to be heard, it's to be thought about. Once, there was a young man named Ryan who was deeply unhappy with his life. He was constantly feeling down, convinced that nothing was going his way. One afternoon, with his mind clouded by worry, Ryan went to a small cafe in his town to have a cup of tea. He didn't have a job, his family was pressuring him, and the fear of an uncertain future weighed heavily on him. He sat quietly in a corner, just holding his cup. At the next table, a few older men were chatting. Even though Ryan wasn't trying to eavesdrop, their conversation was clear. One of them said, "You know that old man who lives behind the hills? He looks like a normal person, but he's full of wisdom. My son was really struggling, but after talking to him, he changed completely." Another man added, "Yes, people say he can lighten your heart just by talking." Hearing this, Ryan's ears perked up. He thought to himself, "My life is falling apart too. If he really has something helpful to say, maybe I'll find some peace." That same evening, Ryan started walking quietly toward the back of the hills, where the wise old man was said to live. It was a long walk, but he was determined. When he finally reached the house, he found the old man sitting outside. Ryan approached him and said, "Grandpa, I have so many problems in my life. I always feel pain and sadness. Please, can you tell me, how can I be happy?" The wise old man listened carefully, his eyes gentle, not saying a word. Then, without any explanation, he suddenly got up and walked away. Ryan felt confused, but decided to wait patiently. After a few minutes, the old man returned holding a glass of water and a small bowl filled with salt. He looked at Ryan and said, "Take a handful of salt from this bowl and put it into the glass. Then drink the water." Although Ryan was unsure, he did as he was told. He scooped up the salt, dropped it into the glass, stirred it, and took a sip. The old man asked, "How does the water taste?" Ryan winced, making a face. "It tastes terrible," he replied. "It's so bitter. I can only taste the salt." The old man nodded. "Now," he said, "take another handful of salt and come with me." They both walked in silence to a beautiful, vast lake nearby. The water was calm and clear. The old man pointed to the lake and said, "Now, throw this handful of salt into the lake." Ryan did as he was asked, tossing the salt into the shimmering water. "Now," the old man continued, "take a sip of the lake water." Ryan knelt down, cupped his hands, and drank some water from the lake. The old man asked again, "How does it taste?" Ryan looked up, surprised. "It tastes fine," he said. "It's fresh and clean. I don't taste any salt at all." The old man smiled warmly, placing a gentle hand on Ryan's shoulder. "Listen, son," he began. "The pain in our lives is like that pure salt. It's always there, not too much, not too little. But how much of that bitterness we actually feel depends on the size of the container we put it in. In other words, it depends on the size of our heart. If your heart is small like that glass, even a little bit of pain will make your entire life feel bitter. But if you can learn to expand your heart, to make it vast like this lake, then even a great deal of pain won't affect you as much. You'll barely notice its taste," he continued. "The glass and the lake are symbols of your patience and your perspective. If your patience is small, then small problems will feel huge and overwhelming. But if your patience is big, then even the biggest problems won't have the power to break you. Everyone has problems in life. There isn't a single person in this world who doesn't face pain and hardship. Just as we can't understand the true meaning of happiness without knowing sadness, we also can't learn life's most valuable lessons without facing our problems. But when we fixate only on our problems, our whole life starts to feel like it's filled with nothing but pain. If just a little salt can make a whole glass of water undrinkable, think about what happens when your heart is small. Even a minor issue can drown you in sadness. So when problems come your way, don't shrink and become small like a glass. Instead, expand your heart and your mind to become vast and open like a lake. Only then will you be able to navigate the struggles of life and enjoy the peace and happiness you seek. Ryan stood there, looking at the vast lake, the old man's words echoing in his mind. For the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of hope. He realized it wasn't about getting rid of the problems, but about growing bigger than them. If this story resonated with you or helped you in any way, please consider sharing it with others who might need to hear this message. Your support helps us create more content like this. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire and uplift.